Dear students, welcome to P.N.AMERSEY High School e-learning. Today, I am going to begin with first chapter in economics. Name of chapter is Economics and Introduction. First of all, let's have a look at meaning of economics. The word economics in Indian thought is derived from the Sanskrit word Arthashastra. Arth means purpose or goal, and thus Arthashastra in Sanskrit means the science of benefits or purpose in practical life. It means that it is a science which teaches us how benefits are obtained in our day-to-day life, or what are the purpose of obtaining these benefits in our life. Similarly, the English word economics is derived from Greek word oikonomos. Here, oikos means household and nomos means management. And hence, economics means management of households. It means that how people manage their household or their daily activities. Now let us have a look at economics in Indian thoughts. Basically, there are four purusharths in Indian philosophy. These are Arth, Dharma, Kam and Moksha. Purusharths means purpose of human being. The activities of life done for earth, that is benefits, are the subject matter of economics. That means out of the four purusharths, the activities which are done for earth over here means for obtaining benefits, are only the subject matter of economics. Only these activities are studied in economics. Thus, we may say any activity done with the purpose of obtaining some benefit is called an economic activity. That means only those activities which are done for obtaining any kind of benefit are said to be economic activities. 2500 years ago, Kautilya, who is also known as Chanakya, discussed in his book Arthashastra the purpose of economic activity. See, 2500 years ago, at that time, Kautilya, whom we also know as Chanakya, so he wrote a book, and the name of that book was Arthashastra. In this book, he discussed about economic activities, and he also discussed that what is the purpose behind performing these economic activities. Now let us have a look at meaning of economics according to Kautilya. So, according to Kautilya, the intention of a human being is earth, that is wealth. The piece of land which has human settlement is earth. So, first of all, this much part of definition states that the intention of every human being is obtaining wealth, or it is to create wealth. Also, the piece of land over which we live, the land which has human settlement, that is also known to be earth. And thus, the science explaining the purpose and utility of wealth creation on earth is called economics. Thus, Arthashastra means that science which explains that how wealth is created and what is the purpose of creating this wealth. This itself is called to be economics. Now let us have a look at development of economics as a science in the West. First of all, Greek philosopher Aristotle gave his views on economics in his book Oikonomika. Just like we have seen that economics is actually derived from a Greek word oikonomos, so this was actually given. Greek philosopher Aristotle, he has given his views on economics, and the name of his book was also Oikonomika, just similar to oikonomos. With the advent of industrial revolution, division of labor and specialization were introduced in the industrial sector. Now, here, when industrial revolution began, So, along with that, division of labor and specialization was also introduced. Now, what is this division of labor or what is this specialization? It means that where a piece of work is given to only that worker who has specialized in that job. Okay, that means that a particular work is given to a person who has specialized knowledge and skill in doing that work. Now, Adam Smith wrote in 1776 a book which was popularly known as Wealth of Nations. And with this book, Adam Smith is known to have pioneered the development of economics as a specialized area of knowledge in the West. That means we may say that it was Adam Smith who was responsible for development of economics as a specialized area of knowledge in the West. He was the person who mainly propagated economics in Western region. Now, definition of economics by Adam Smith. First of all, Adam Smith states that economics is the study of the nature and causes of wealth of nations. It means that economics studies that how physical wealth which is produced by labor is exchanged. Okay, because wealth is being produced by human efforts, so how this physical wealth which is being produced by human labor or human efforts is exchanged for obtaining benefits. Adam Smith introduced economics as a social science. Now here, why it is considered that economics is a social science? Because on one hand, he studies about human efforts. Human beings are what? These are social animals. We are social animals. Okay, so because he talks about human efforts, so we may say that it is related with society. Okay, this whatever is produced, whatever wealth is being produced, it is meant for society and it is produced even by the human beings which reside in the society. So first of all, it is said that because he has studied about human efforts, we may say that this concept is social. And on the other hand, his methodology for studying this was very scientific. Therefore, we may say that it is a science. Hence, we may say that economics is a social science. In his book, however, Adam Smith talked about human welfare only. Next one is definition of economics by Alfred Marshall. So, Alfred Marshall published his books in 1890 and name of his book was Principles of Economics. According to Marshall, economics is the study of mankind in the ordinary business of life. That means this definition studies daily activity of human beings and explains how well-being is attained from material consumption. Okay, so according to Marshall, economics studies that what are the day-to-day activities of a human being, how a human being does his day-to-day activities or how a human being performs his day-to-day activities, and this is only the subject matter of economics. And by performing these activities, by material consumption, by physical consumption, how well-being can be obtained. So we may say that this definition is narrow. Why? Because it talks only about material consumption or material well-being, that it talks about that how well-being is obtained by material consumption, but it does not talks about anything else. Yet it is important because it talks about human well-being or human welfare. Next one is definition of economics by Lionel Robbins. In 1931, Lionel Robbins, in his book Nature and Significance of Economics, gave the definition of economics. That means this book of Lionel Robbins, its name was Nature and Significance of Economics. Now, according to Robbins, what is economics? Economics is the science which studies human behavior as a relationship between ends and scarce means which have alternative uses. So what does this definition state? It states that economics must deal with the problem of allocation of scarce resources in the satisfaction of human wants to the maximum possible extent. So here Robbins talk about economics, that economics actually deals with the problem. Now what is the problem? The problem is that the resources which we have are very much limited, and these limited resources we are supposed to use them, we are supposed to utilize them in such a manner so that maximum possible wants of a human being can be satisfied. So economics just deal with this problem of allocating the scarce resources in order to satisfy maximum possible wants of a human being. According to Robbins, economics is a positive science because it does not deal with how human beings should ideally behave. It just studies that how human beings are actually behaving. And because it does not deal with the norms, and therefore it is not a normative science. Lastly, definition of economics by Paul Samuelson. So his book Foundations of Economic Analysis was published in 1947. In 1947, name of the book was Foundation of Economic Analysis. This was published and it was given by Paul Samuelson. In his book, Samuelson talks about choice, allocation of scarce resources, evaluation of costs and benefits of doing so. So according to Samuelson, in his book and in his definition of economics, he states that economics studies that how people and society they use scarce productive resources so as to produce various commodities and also distribute them among the various persons in the society so that persons may consume it and have maximum satisfaction by using those commodities. Not only this much, it also talks about costs and benefits, that what is the cost being involved in producing a commodity and what are the benefits which are obtained from that commodity. From all these definitions, after studying all the above definitions, what we may conclude is that all definitions in a way commonly point out that economics studies human behavior. So first of all, from these definitions we may say that economics simply studies about human behavior, like we have seen that economics study the ordinary or day-to-day business of human beings. So we may say that it studies about human behavior. It is positive in nature, just like we have studied that according to Robbins, it states that how human beings behave. So it is positive in nature. Also, we may say that it is a social science because we have studied that it talks about human efforts and the method for studying this is scientific. So we may say that economics is also a social science.